Hi everyone, this is Ted Atkins broadcasting from the Onyx Room in the world-famous Crown Palace Hotel in downtown Denver. For the next 60 minutes, the Louise Harrison Caldwell press conference. Our special guest tonight, Louise Harrison Caldwell. Hi, Louise! Louise, it hasn't been too long, about 4 months since you've been in Denver. Welcome back to the Mile High City.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be back here again.
Louise, we have a question here from Linda Ramey of Rochelle Junior High.
Louise, is it true that the Beatles are going to make a Western movie?
They are thinking about it, definitely. And the story they have in mind is A Talent for Loving, which is written by, I think it's Richard Condon. And it's a story about a race, a horse race. I think it's a 1,500-mile horse race, which took place around about Mexico City and the Rio Grande area. And this, they haven't completely decided on it yet, but they are considering this idea.
Hello, Louise. My name is Georgine Whatley, and I'd like to know if it's true, after the tour of the United States, when they went back to England, if George weighed only 118 pounds.
Well, I don't know exactly the weight that he was, but I know he lost around about 20 pounds on that last trip.
Louise, we have a girl who's a die-in-the-heart Beatle fan. She has on a Beatle cap and Beatle buttons, Beatle boots. And she has a question I know she'd like to ask you.
Louise?
Yes?
What kind of cars do the Beatles drive?
That's one that I'm not terribly well up in. George had an XKE, and I don't know whether he still has it, but I know he was ordering an Aston Martin. And he did want to get some of the things on it, you know, like James Bond had, but they wouldn't allow him.
Mud flaps. An ejection seat.
They mostly wanted the smoke screen. I don't think he ordered the machine guns on the front though. But anyway, he's just getting an ordinary Aston Martin, and Paul has one, a light blue one. And now Ringo just bought a sports car, and I'm not sure the name of it. It's a European one, as far as I know, European as opposed to English. And they each of them have what they call a mini, a little mini, which is a tiny little compact for running around the city. And John has a Rolls Royce.
Oh.
Oh, it's only a second-hand one, though.
If you'd introduce yourself, please.
I'm Kathy Farron, and I'm from South High School. And Louise, I was wondering if you've met Ringo's wife, and if so, what do you think of her?
No, I didn't meet her. I was sort of hoping that she may have been in the Bahamas when I went down there, but she wasn't. But from what I have heard about her, she seems to be a very nice girl, and, you know, just what he needs.
What was the general consensus among the Beatles themselves after Ringo's marriage?
Oh, well, they were very pleased, you know, and they were pleased too at the reaction of the fans, because almost without exception, the kids wrote and sent beautiful congratulation cards and said, well, we're a little bit disappointed, but we realize you can't marry all of us. And, we hope you'll be very happy.
Louise, we have a question from Linda Sampson of Grant Junior High. Linda?
What thing did you like best from A Hard Day's Night?
Oh, I think the bit where the girl fell down the hole. But George's comment on that was, they didn't do it right, because when she got back up again, she was still clean.
Bob?
Beatle fan clubs are well represented tonight. The Boulder Beatle fan club has sent its representative, Sue Smith.
Louise, I'd like to know where they got the title 8 Days a Week.
The title? Well, I don't know. They're always thinking of nutty things like that. Just a nutty idea they had, I suppose. And it fits well in with the lyrics, that, what is it? He loves her so much that he loves her more than 7 days a week, 8 days a week.
Well, actually, how big were the Beatles and for how long prior to their impact in the United States?
Oh, they were just as sort of stupendous in England, as they were the first year over here too, yes.
You had a lot of fans, they've got them all over the world.
Oh my goodness, the police are after us.
Well, let's continue our questioning here with Robert E. Lee standing by with the young lady.
Louise, I didn't know whether you were aware of it or not, but you, of course, have a fan club here in Denver, and I'm sure in every major city that you've gone to. This is the secretary of the Louise Harrison Caldwell fan club. This is Teresa Garcia.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Louise, I'd like to know if you ever expected George to become as famous as he is.
Not really. It's not the kind of thing that happens every day in anybody's family, But I'm certainly very pleased that he did.
I'm Patty Frank from Moore Junior High. And Louise, I have heard a rumor that you will move here to Denver and live. Is this true?
No, dear, but I certainly like it here very, very much.
We'd love to have you out here.
Yeah, I love those mountains out
That's
there.
beautiful country.
Ray Stearns of North High School.
Louise, what is your brother's actual reaction to the way that young girls go absolutely wild over he and his fellow Beatles?
He doesn't mind, really.
Kinda likes it.
How would you like it? They can still run faster than most of the girls.
You saw that in the Hard Day's Night.
Jessica Halpern.
Go right ahead, Jess.
Louise, I'd like to know if John Lennon has contact lenses.
Yes, he does. And in fact, when I went down to the Bahamas, I was in the back of a press conference, something like this, and John was the first one to spot me there. So that shows how, what a big improvement it is for him.
Kathy Krauser from Abraham Lincoln. Kathy?
Louise, did the Beatles say anything about Denver when they performed here to you? Did they mention anything about Denver?
Yes, they mentioned, how spectacular the place was, the Red Rocks Theatre, and, that they had never ever seen anything like that before in their lives. They didn't say anything especially about the audience, not to me anyway, because I guess it was pretty much representative of the audiences at most places.
Ted, I have Carol Atkinson from Gove Junior High School, and she has a question for Louise.
Louise, I'd like to know, I read in this magazine that Ringo means apple in Japanese. And do you think this is true?
Well, I'm not an expert on Japanese, I'm afraid. I have no idea.
Well, if you knew it, what do you think he'd say?
I don't know, you're really putting me on the spot. I don't know a thing about that at all.
Sue Gorka, Clear Lake Junior High has this question, Ted.
Louise, I'd like to know how high the Beatles' boots are, the heels on them.
How high the heels? I think about an inch.
Okay.
And I think maybe sometimes on stage they have about 1.5 inches heels.
Thank you.
And Bill Holly.
Margot Myers from the Boulder Beatles Fan Club. Margot.
Well, recently in a very well-known magazine, they put out an article that the Beatles were becoming great snobs and everything in the Bahamas and everything. And I was wondering, it's a little hard to believe. They said something to the effect that they were at a party and they called some lady a fat old bag or something,
Maybe she was. Well, certainly they're not becoming snobs. I certainly wouldn't say that. But as to what they said, I don't know about that at all. Sometimes they have a lot of justification for saying things.
Bill Davidson, or Bill Holly.
Question back here from Pamela Hubbard.
What other instruments does Paul play besides the guitar?
He can play the drums and the piano, and I think he can play the harmonica a bit too, and an organ as well.
And to Bill Davidson.
Thank you. Louise, Cheryl Zimmer of Cherry Creek High School.
One of the most remarkable things about the Beatles, besides their music, is their sense of humor. Louise, are they by nature this funny, or do they use it as a release and to keep their lives in perspective?
No, I think they just it just comes naturally to them, because you couldn't think up some of the comical things they say, if it was false. It has to be spontaneous and natural, and they certainly are a lot of fun to be around, especially when they're, relaxing on their off-duty moments too.
Okay, I have a gal that represents our local teenage magazine, which is very well done. Tempo Magazine, this is Phyllis Wright.
Louise, besides the English groups, today the trend in America is toward folk singing. Could you tell me what the Beatles' opinion is of folk singing and folk singers?
Oh, they love it.
Do they?
Yes. When George was staying with me in 1963, he used to watch the, The Hootenanny, yes. Every Saturday afternoon. He used to really enjoy watching that. He
Who's
enjoys.
their favorite? Do you know?
Well, I really couldn't tell you. I'm afraid I'm not very well up on that particular aspect. I haven't talked, to them about it very much, but I know they do like it very, very much.
Thank you.
Susan Wright, George Washington High.
Mrs. Caldwell, I'd like to know, do you think the Beatles really care about us, or do they just care about our buying their records and books and things?
Well, I think they wouldn't have lasted as long as they do if they were only interested in the money. And besides, when they first started out, they would play for 7 and 8 hours a night for less than $2 a piece.
And our time is all gone, Louise. I wish we could continue to do this for 2 or 3 hours. I really wish we could, because the time has gone so fast, and I've had so much fun tonight. And I'm sure that everyone in the audience here at the Brown Palace Hotel tonight is quite happy with your return to Denver and the questions that you could answer for them this evening. The next time you're in the Mile High City, I hope that we can have a similar press conference and ask you more questions, because evidently the questions are unlimitless and very interesting, and we could continue something like this all night. So on behalf of all of us at KIMN, cheerio, Louise.
Cheerio, everybody.
Cheerio, Louise!